Hello everybody and welcome to part 8 of What If Midoriya Was the Shield Hero. This episode will tackle the last week before the third wave, or the second one that Midoriya encounters. The characters encounter. I'm calling it the third wave of Meromarc because there's the first one before the story starts, then there's the second, then there's the third. There's more in other countries, which they're not going to, obviously, because they're not in the other countries, they're not registered to the other countries, which is the reason why Midoriya gets mad at them. Yeah. That said, I hope, please hit that like button, please subscribe, it helps me out a great deal. The like shows me that you guys want more of this, and you guys have constantly asked for this in other videos, so I'm going to be continuing this. That said, please hit that like button, let's try to get 100 likes, let's see if you can do that, and there'll be more Mido Shield soon. There'll also be another Shield Hero episode later this week because of my whole every 2 weeks is a Shield Hero week now. And that said, I hope you all enjoyed this video. After that intro. After going around Meromarc, helping people, even stopping a plague, Izuku kept going. Among other things, he helped Lerno village with a plant monster infestation, helping them heal the problems the Spear Hero caused. Only about a week left until the next wave, Izuku finds himself near Mirso village, stopping a monster infestation nearby. After finishing, the group heads back to the capital. Well, on the way, they come across a girl who's sitting in a field playing with some Philolials. Raftalia spots the girl and stops the cart, causing Midoriya to step out of the cart. "What's the matter?" he asks. "That girl," says Raftalia. Izuku matches her gaze, seeing a blue-haired girl in the field. "What about her?" asks Midoriya. "She's all alone. Do you think she might need help?" asks Raftalia. "Why don't we ask?" answers Midoriya. The two step out of the cart and, along with Denki, they walk towards her, with Denki accidentally scaring away the Philolials. "Are you lost?" asks Midoriya. "Well, not exactly," answers the girl. "I know we're in the east of Meromarc, but I have gotten separated from my envoys." "Do you need help getting home?" asks Midoriya. "I will most certainly appreciate the assistance," she answers. "I'm sure my father can even procure a reward for my safe return if that is a needed incentive." "I don't think that'll be necessary," says Raftalia. "Where are you going anyway?" asks Midoriya. "We might be able to drop you off on our way to the capital." "That's actually where I'm going," says the girl. "Great, then you can join us." What's your name?" asks Midoriya. "You can call me Melty," she says. "Thank you very much for the assistance." Over the next 3 days, the group heads back to the castle town, stopping every once in a while to help other travelers out, and also stopping in small villages to do the same. They even encounter some demi-humans on the run, which they helped out for the time being. During this travel time, Melty bonds with the group a bit, becoming good friends with Denki after playing with him a bit. While they traveled to the capital, the representatives of the church assembled, discussing what to do about the stupidity of the three heroes and the good name that the Shield Hero had acquired recently. They ended up deciding to frame the shield after the next wave, as it'd be the best time to do such a thing, and at a point he'd be at his most vulnerable, and maybe release the Shield Hero imposters to further ruin his name. The travels of Saint Deku end for the time being, and Melty is returned home by Denki, while Midoriya and Raftalia go to the Adventurers Guild to get some new quests. Denki later returns, having been given a bit of money. "Where do you get that, Denki?" asks Raftalia. Melty's father gave it to me as thanks for helping her," answers Denki. "He said it was for the group's leader, so it's for you, Midoriya." He hands Midoriya the pouch of money. Midoriya opens it and sees 6 gold pieces. "Well, that's quite a lot," he says. "Does that mean we can get something yummy?" asks the gluttonous Philolial. "Next time we're in town, I'll get you something very yummy, okay?" asks Midoriya. "Yay!" says Denki. They head to the weapon shop. Once there, Midoriya presents Erhard with the armor and a bunch of new materials. "What's all this?" Erhard asks, looking at a huge pile of stuff. "Materials from our travels," answers Izuku. "You got all this stuff? Some of this stuff is very rare and even very high quality too. You want me to upgrade your equipment or make you something new?" asks Erhard. "What would be the better alternative?" asks Midoriya. Erhard thinks it over for a moment and answers, "I think a new armor would be better. It'll take me less time to make and likely come out with better quality. Any specifications?" "Yeah," says Midoriya, handing him a list. "I'd also like to ask for a specific item to be made, kind of like gauntlets or gloves." Yeah, I can make that. Seems like a very interesting project," says Erhard. "Anything else?" "I actually would like to ask for a custom sword and some new equipment too," says Raphtalia. "No fair! I don't want to be left out," says Denki. "What do you want then?" asks Midoriya. "Claws! Claws that transform with me!" answers Denki. "But you don't usually fight melee," objects Midoriya. "Please, Midoriya, please, please, please. I promise I'll use them," pleads the child. "That's a lot of stuff. Not sure how long it's going to take me to make," explains the weaponsmith. "By when do you want it all done?" "If possible, before the wave starts, which is in about a week," answers Midoriya, looking at the countdown in his field of vision. He turns to Denki and covers his ears. "But I'd like you to prioritize both mine and Raphtalia's equipment," he says. Denki doesn't need it as much. "What's happening, Midoriya?" asks Denki with his ears covered. Midoriya covers them and answers, "Not much, we're just talking." "Oh, okay," says the Philolial. "I do have to say that even with these amazing materials you have for me, it's gonna cost you quite a hefty sum," Erhard explains. "No worries, we have a big budget to work with. How much do you need?" asks Midoriya. "If I can keep all the excess materials, it'll charge ya 12 gold pieces," says Erhard. "Quite expensive, but alright," says Midoriya, pulling out the money. They then leave the weapon shop. "I'm gonna have powerful claws," says Denki happily. He then turns into his Philolial king form and they leave to go do their thing. The next week passes rather quickly. They stop at a monster rampage, they stop some bandits, and feed a group of refugees, helping them set up a temporary shelter amongst other things. 2 days before the next wave, Midoriya and company return to the capital. "Yay, I get some yummy food now! Right, Midoriya? You promised," says Denki as they enter town. "Yeah, I did promise. How about we go to the tavern? And you can order whatever you want," says Midoriya. "Yes, that sounds amazing," says Denki in response. They park the carriage and head to the tavern. Once they enter, they find Ren and Itsuki. "Hey Midoriya, how about sitting with us?" suggests Itsuki as they enter the tavern. "Mind if I sit with them?" asks Midoriya. "Go ahead, we'll be over here," says Raphtalia. Midoriya grabs a bag filled with enough money and says, "Be sure to get Denki whatever he wants. If you need a little more money, just ask, but please don't go overboard." "Understood," responds Raphtalia. "Hey guys, long time no see," says Midoriya, sitting down at the table with the other heroes. "Yeah, it's been a while," says Ren. "Yeah, we haven't seen each other since the misunderstanding in Loot Village," adds Itsuki. "So how have you guys been?" asks Midoriya, before ordering something to eat. "Pretty well, aside from one thing. I recently overthrew a despot in the country to the north, but the Adventurers Guild told me the reward has already been claimed," explains Itsuki. "Huh, weird," comments Ren. "So that was you," says Midoriya. "So you've heard of my justicing then?" asks Itsuki. "Yeah, these refugees from the country said an adventurer with a bow came to help them, but that things quickly became worse after he left," explains Midoriya. "What exactly have you been doing, Itsuki?" asks Ren accusingly. "What? I just overthrew this tyrannical guy who was overtaxing everyone," says Itsuki. "You know, that might be because it takes a lot of money to actually run a country," explains Ren. "Maybe he was overtaxing people because of an economic crisis." "I didn't really consider that," comments Itsuki. Actions have consequences, so maybe you should consider them before taking said actions, says Ren. So what have you been up to, Midoriya? Asks Itsuki, wanting to change the subject. Not much, to be honest. I've been going around the country helping people out. I've mostly just fixed carriages, defeated bandits, and killed some monsters that were terrorizing people, explains Midoriya. So I take it you guys have finally gone through the class upgrade process, says Ren. Yeah, no. We tried a while back, but failed miserably. Apparently the church prohibits anyone associated with a shield hero to class up, so both my party members are at level 40. I'm just at 43 myself, explains Midoriya. If you can't grow that way, then why not just add more people to your party, asks Itsuki. After all, you can have up to 6 people without losing experience. We tried, but anyone we openly approached as a shield hero would turn us down immediately. Those who didn't know would join us for a day or two, but would soon find out and leave us. The only people who were willing to fight with us were these knights, but because of their jobs they can't really join us, answers Midoriya. Why not add a monster to your party then, asks Ren. Don't you already have one? That's actually not a bad idea, says Midoriya. It can improve our capabilities quite a bit. It does seem like Meromarc has it out for you though, says Ren, thinking the situation over. Kind of a miracle you made it this far. What about you, Ren? What have you done recently? Asks Midoriya. I defeated a dragon, went to Zeltoba and fought there for a while, and recently came back for the wave, answers Ren. Oh, in Mirso Village! That actually caused Midoriya manages to say before being interrupted by one of Itsuki's party members who approaches the table and says, We just received another guild request to overthrow a town lord to the north. What do you want to do with this? It's from the guild? Asks Itsuki. Yes. From what I can tell, it seems like the local lord is heavily taxing the citizens way beyond the court set limits, and is using that revenue in a vicious campaign to suppress dissenters of any kind and to hire mercenaries, Itsuki's party member explains. After looking the request over, Itsuki says, Interesting. They need to be taught that with great power comes great responsibility. Isn't that the line from the American hero? The one with the strings, asks Izuku. Who? Asks Itsuki. Oh right, different worlds. I sometimes forget, he says. Do you want to join us on this quest? Asks Itsuki. Sure, seems like we can do some good here and maybe even have some fun, says Midoriya. What about you, Ren? Any interest in joining? Asks Itsuki. No. Honestly, I have no interest of playing hero. I'm just going to train a bit more until the wave tomorrow, answers Ren. After the heroes finish eating lunch, they all leave the tavern, intent on going 2 different ways. But once they leave, they find a knight waiting for them. Pardon me, sword, bow, and shield hero, says the knight. What is it? Asks Itsuki. I've been told to summon the heroes, with an emphasis on calling the shield hero, explains the knight. What did you do this time? Jokes Itsuki. Hey, did you raid someone again? Adds Ren, chuckling a bit at the situation. I told you I didn't do it! Exclaims Midoriya, a bit angry and annoyed that they're bringing something like that up again. We're just joking around, says Ren in response. The knight looks at them confused and says, It's nothing of the sort. I've been ordered by the princess and, well, the king as well, to take primarily the shield hero and his party members to the castle. But since you two are here as well, I'd request your presence too. I'd rather pass, says Midoriya. I don't like that woman and have no interest in talking to her. If I'm not mistaken, you're referring to the first princess, Malti. Then one summoning you is the second and crown princess, clarifies the knight. Wait, the second princess is the crown princess? Can you please explain the situation here? Asks Midoriya, confused as to what's happening. The situation is not very clear among us knights, Sir Hero, but from what we can understand, she is unstable or something, and the queen decided to appoint the second princess as her successor. Regardless, I've been instructed to bring you to the castle by any means short of attacking you, explains the knight. Midoriya thinks it over for a moment and agrees to at least hear the princess out. This might be interesting, says Ren. I agree. I'll tag along, adds Itsuki. Itsuki instructs his party members to make the preparations to go to the overtaxed territory, going to the castle after. Once the three heroes arrive at the castle, they are taken to the throne room. I thought Motoyasu was going to be here too, notes Ren. You called me here? Asks Midoriya, slightly annoyed. What do you want from me this time? The king grits his teeth as someone else enters the room. The spear here was also called, but he declined the offer. Likely the work of my sister, says a little girl with blue hair and an elaborate dress entering the room. As she enters the room, her expression changes slightly. Hey look, it's Melty, says Denki, pointing at her. What a surprise, she states. I must say I didn't expect Saint Deku to turn out to be the shield hero. This may actually prove to be a perfect opportunity. Saint Deku? Asks Itsuki, not recognizing the name. Well, Deku is my hero name in my world, explains Itsuki. I use it as an alias here. People start calling me Saint after I start helping the sick and the others who needed it. So you were Saint Deku. Not surprising, says Ren, remembering some of the stories he heard. So why did you call me here, your majesty? Asks Midoriya. Anger filling him, the king is about to say something, but before he can, Melty interrupts him, saying, Before you say something that may damage the situation further, father, may I remind you what mother has entrusted me to do. You have heard the country standing enough as is, so I'd encourage you to choose your words wisely. Right, my dear daughter, I do apologize, says the king in a soft tone, trying to please his daughter. Wow, his demeanor is significantly different than the other times I've met him. Melty being here is surely changing the way he's acting, thinks Midoriya. I do have 2 things to tell you, father, before we continue this discussion. First, it was the shield hero who actually ensured my safe return to the castle, says Melty in a calm, diplomatic tone. What? Impossible! I gave that says the king before being cut off. And second, mother has asked me to warn you about your actions. If things aren't rectified now, then mother will punish you justly when she returns, says Melty. Is there something I'm missing here? Asks Ren. I thought the king was in charge. The 2 others shrug, not knowing. Excuse me, but what do you mean that your mother will punish the king when she returns? Asks Midoriya. Well, Meromarc is a matrilineal country, Sir Hero. The power is held by the queen. My father is just filling the position of ruler while she's away on diplomatic affairs, explains Melty. Wait, you're telling us that the king actually married into the royal family? Asks Itsuki. So he's been acting all high and mighty, even though the position he holds is only temporary? Asks Ren. That's right, answers Melty. So why exactly did you call us here, Melty? Asks Midoriya, wanting to get to the point. I am here as the crown princess to put everything right. I am here to try and reconcile the relationship between the shield hero and the king of Meromarc, and thus also the kingdom itself, explains Melty. If you and my father remain at odds, it may threaten the safety of our entire country, both because of the waves and other more political reasons. We will be in danger. Reconcile with that swine? Screams the king in anger, not being able to hold in his anger. The outburst scared Melty, but it also caused the heroes to put their guards up. Oh, sorry, my dear, please do not worry. I'm not angry at you, says the king while glaring at Midoriya. It's him I'm angry at. What's your problem with me? Asks Midoriya. I don't remember doing anything to you. It does seem pretty strange, says Ren. Agreed, adds Itsuki. I would also like to know, father, what is your quarrel with the shield hero? Asks the princess. It's just that if he and his demi-humans do as they please, I lose my family all over again, says the king in a softer, sadder tone. His demi-humans? Do you mean Raftalia? Asks Itsuki. I do believe he is referring to Siltveld, says Melty. Ah, the demi-human country, says Midoriya. He thinks the situation over and then says, if what you wanted to do was safeguard your family, then wouldn't a better strategy have been to try to get in my good graces by giving me special treatment and then using my favor to procure peace with Siltveld? That would avoid all future conflicts, am I correct? He then descends into mumbling, putting all his facts together and repeating them to himself while considering all the points. Trash grits his teeth with anger and shouts, "Silence!" This snaps Midoriya out of it, and Melty glares at her father, which causes him to try and calm down a bit. "You are correct, Sir Hero," says Melty, cutting her father off before he can say anything else. "It was my mother's wish that all 4 heroes were treated equally, in order for such a relationship as you described to be created with Siltvelt. However, I still hope we can count on you to help us in such an endeavor." The conversation continues on a bit longer. Midoriya proposes a plan. He and Melty will go to Siltvelt after the wave in order to try and de-escalate the tension created by the king and the church. The king reluctantly agrees to the idea, asking Melty to at least take some guards with her so she'll at least be safe. "Still want to come help with the territory in the north?" asks Itsuki as they leave town. "Yeah, I just have one thing I want to do first. I'll meet you at the northern gate in an hour, okay?" asks Midoriya while leaving. "Sure, but don't be too late. We'll wait half an hour the longest. We don't have that much time to take care of the situation, with the next wave being tomorrow and all," says Itsuki. "Where are we going, Midoriya?" asks Raphtalia. "We're going to pay an old friend a visit," says Midoriya. "We're going to see the weapon guy again?" asks Denki. "Well, we have to pass by there first, actually, but it's not what I was referring to," answers Midoriya. "Oh, so creepy mustache guy," comments Denki. They head to the weapon shop where they pick up the custom orders. "I had to pull some all-nighters, but I got it ready. Just in time for you, kid," says Erhard. "Thanks," says Midoriya, pulling out some money. "What? But you already paid me," says the weaponsmith, confused. "Consider it a tip for a job well done," says Deku as they leave the shop with their new equipment. "Welcome, welcome, yes sir," says the slave merchant as Midoriya and his party enter the tent. "What can I do for you today, Sir Hero? Here for some more slaves?" "No, I doubt I will be here for slaves anytime soon," answers Midoriya. "Oh, then a monster, I'm guessing," says Bellucas. "Actually, yes," says Midoriya. "This way, then," the slave merchant says happily, while urging them to follow. "I must thank you, Sir Hero. Your patronage has increased my business transactions considerably." "How so?" asks Midoriya. The slave trader stops in his tracks and explains how Midoriya's companions are an assurance of quality, to which Midoriya sighs. They then resume reaching the middle tent quickly. "What monsters are you in the market for today? Anything in particular? A Philolio, perhaps? If that were the case, I'd be willing to give them to you for free," says the slave merchant. "Knowing you, I'd rather pay in cash than wait to find out what your ulterior motives are. I'll take an egg from your monster lottery," says Midoriya. "Why, certainly, Sir Hero," says Bellucas, ordering his lackeys to go fetch the lottery. Midoriya pays the man and is given the new egg, placing it inside of an incubator. They then leave the shop. "Are you replacing me, master?" asks Denki while looking at the egg, a bit scared or concerned. "No," answers Midoriya while ruffling his hair. "I'm just getting you a brother or sister. It's someone to help us fight and do other stuff. You're irreplaceable, Denki." Denki smiles at the prospect of having a little brother or sister. Midoriya and the others then meet Itsuki and his party heading to the northern territory of Meromarc. They survey the area and ask around, finding out what's happening in the area exactly. They gather enough information to know they're doing the right thing. Using Raphtalia's illusion magic, they sneak into the Lord's castle at night. A fight breaks out once they're inside, but having over 10 members to fight, 2 of them being heroes, the knights give up, leaving the Lord on his own, who is swiftly defeated. Itsuki arrests the man, ordering his bodyguards to deliver him to the Adventurers Guild. Itsuki and Midoriya then inspect the castle, looking for the daughter of a nobleman who was blackmailed into being there. After they find her, they inform her about what just happened, effectively freeing her. She shows tons of gratitude, to the point she even wants to join one of the heroes on their adventure. Itsuki refuses her request, having a full party already, but encourages her to join Midoriya, which she does. The next day, the group returns to the capital, where they make their final preparations. Midoriya checks his shield's inventory, checking if he still has all the stored potions he's been making over the last week. The knights gather around him. Rishia? Midoriya says, addressing the newest member of his party. Feh? Whimpers the girl. What is it? I'm sorry to ask this of you, but since you're only level 9, do you mind staying behind for this wave? I promise we'll level you up after, but we didn't have enough time beforehand, explains Midoriya. All right, says Rishia, slightly disappointed. Here, says Midoriya, handing her the incubator with the new egg. Take care of the egg, all right? That's your job for now, says Midoriya with a smile. Feh, she whimpers again. This is too much responsibility. I know you can live up to it, says Midoriya. Rishia takes the egg and returns to the inn to keep it safe. In the meantime, Midoriya assigns the other knights to their positions. Alright, listen up, guys. This is going to be a hard fight, says Midoriya, trying to pump everyone up. The wave will be here in less than a minute. Remember, the other heroes may be the flashy ones. They will be fighting the main boss, but our jobs are just as important. We're focusing on rescuing people and making sure casualties are at a minimum. Right, says everyone in response. Moments later, they are all enveloped in a flash of light as they are teleported to the place where the third wave will take place. And that's the end of the video. Hope you all enjoyed it. Please leave a like, subscribe, and all that stuff. Yeah, you can also check out my Discord link in the description below to ask questions and whatnot, to find out more information about stuff. That said, from now on I have to say this. My plan is to do Shield Hero every 2 weeks. And yeah, every 2 weeks will be a Shield Hero week with 2 parts. I've for a long time wanted to add more members to Midoriya's party. I'm still not sure on what will come out of that egg. Who knows? It may be a dragon, it may be a Philolio, it may be Philo, it may be Sakura. There are tons of Philolios that aren't in the main story. It may also be Chick, it may be Midori. Who knows? Who knows? That's what's interesting here. Rishia was added because I always wanted to put them, well, Midoriya and Itsuki in the same fight against the Lord in the North. That said, I wasn't sure of actually putting Rishia in the party because her development later on. She only appears briefly in the anime, and yeah, still an interesting character. I really like her as a character. Yeah, I don't have much more to say. I do hope you enjoyed the series. Next time it's the wave. How will they handle this? How will Motoyasu's new power in the MV series manifest? You will see all this and more in the next episode. Hope you all have a fantastic day. Don't forget to check out a new series which is starting up in a couple days of Shield Hero and a couple other stuff that will be coming to the channel soon. Until next time, everyone, have an absolutely fantastic day. Bye!